All right, welcome to the situation. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. This is the Pseudo Snort Report. I am your host, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we need to make adjustments, even if it's on a sinking ship. Even if our failures are weighing us down more than probably anything or anybody else ever could. Ladies and gentlemen, the saying, the statement has been coined or has been made that DSP is his greatest detractor. And it is something that has echoed through time, and it carries over to this very day. Even before it was uttered, it certainly has been on full display. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we can present you with another avenue or another, not opportunity, but another example of that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Hate Army Watch. DSP rearranges the deck chairs on his sinking ship. This should be very funny, should be somewhat interesting. We'll see what else is pulled out of it. Hopefully you guys yet again are doing well. Hopefully we're catching you guys in pretty good spirits. As you know, we're going to be going into the fall, which means SnortBucks coffee. Well, SnortBucks coffee is in full effect all year round, but we have we have that your typical fall flavors and whatnot. Should be great. And I'll stop all the talking and get to the talking. I will see you guys literally in just a second. The best of fall
Alrighty, everyone. Good morning.
Indeed. Let me do one thing really fast, just so I can make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, we are. Excellent. All right, we are live in full effect. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with, actually, where is... There it goes. It never looks right if it's not up there. All right, guys, we're here with Hate Army Watch. DSP... Okay, here we go. DSP rearranges the deck chairs on a sinking ship. This video was published on September 1st of 2021. The link, without my annoying voice, will be down in the description. You guys all know what the situation is. Let's go.
Welcome to the stream. Let's get started. I got quite a lot to talk about today. Today is Wednesday, the 1st of September, 2021. I'll apologize in advance. I've been sneezing a lot this morning. I don't know why my nose is tickling me, my left nostril. So if I sneeze a lot or whatever on the pre-stream, you know what's going on. Okay, now, ladies and gents, we have a lot to talk about. We do. There's a lot going on, and I want to talk about all these topics that are hot right now. So let's jump right into it. First of all, two topics that absolutely must be addressed before anything else. First of all, Snowcarl is here. Of course, this is a joke. It's not a big deal that, you know, people were so stupid the other day. Snowcarl was never banned or whatever. People were making a big deal about it in stream chat the other day, completely derailing my stream because it was a bunch of trolls, which is what I was trying to tell everyone.
Now, Snowcarl, yet again, I think is probably everybody's favorite detractor. that I guess doesn't make content, if you will. Well, I guess he does kind of make content. He just makes content in a different way. His median, or how he, or where he gets his clay, I should say, is different from everybody else. But if I remember correctly, which don't hold me to that, I guess Snowcarl, it looked like someone banned Snowcarl or timed him out or whatever the case may be. And the chat absolutely crucified Phil over that bullshit. And so now we're trying to set things right. But you can tell that Snowcarl is getting under his skin. Where the ham and the bacon and everything's at. He's really getting up and under there. And I think Phil, in a lot of ways, is jealous of Snowcarl. Snowcarl commands a level of respect that Phil just can't garner. And it's working him over. And you usually see this with a bunch of different individuals who are well-liked, well-respected as it pertains to the DSP community that takes attention away from him. Jake loves cats, or likes cats. I don't know. He's changed his name a couple times. He was able to garner that type of attention for a while. Certainly, King Tut, or Tutmosis, or Tut, he was able to garner a lot of attention for a while. Swaggin, surprisingly enough, never got that kind of respect. Swaggins never was able to command that. Swaggin's a bitch, so that is what that is. But anybody who commands respect and takes attention away from DSP is a threat. But DSP is also a bitch, so he can't afford to lose Carl. He really can't, because he can't afford a revolt. Not after what happened with that Anonymous and the leaks and shit. He doesn't want to risk it. So that's why he is welcoming Snowcarl back, even though Snowcarl theoretically never went anywhere, with the open pig in the blanket arms, if you will.
But no one was listening. People were like, "Oh, Snowcarl's banned. Why was Snowcarl banned?" I'm like, he wasn't banned. What are you even talking about? Like, I have no knowledge that he's banned. I didn't do it, and none of the moderators say they did it. So what are you talking about? And then these idiots just kept repeating.
Like, having rogue mods over there isn't an uncommon sort of thing. Just saying. Like, it's like every 8 months to a year, there's always one mod that decides to break out and try to be a maverick, quote unquote, and go rogue for a bit. That's not something it's not something unfounded. Let's be honest.
Oh, he's banned. He's banned. Why is he banned? So then I start telling people, stop it, or I'm going to ban you. And then people made a big deal of it because they're idiots. What it was is a group of people who came in here actively trying to derail the stream. What they do is they group up outside of my streams to try to plan these things out. And then they swing in and they try to all collectively do shit at the same time. It's really annoying when it happens, admittedly. But it is what it is, guys. Snowcarl's here. He was never banned. It's just a bunch of idiots trying to derail stuff, okay? The other thing is my thumb. My thumb! Ah!
Okay. What the fuck is that disformed hoof doing in my fucking face? And why should I give a shit about that? Like, is this what we've reverted to? Is that we've gotten so boring that we have to show a split in between our hooves? Like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Wow. God damn, Phil. You need to start taking vitamins or something. Definitely need to go outside, but that don't look good. None of that. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's see what this is all about.
So what happened? I cut my thumb. Yesterday I went grocery shopping. It was my day off, and I come home. And I'm unpacking the groceries. I'm prepping, washing, and chopping and prepping the vegetables for the meals for the week. And I was cutting too fast. I had just sharpened my knives.
Wait, sorry. This might be petty on my part. You bring groceries in, you're washing the vegetables off, and you're immediately cutting it for the meals for the week. Why don't you just who cuts stuff like that in advance, though? Like, you're supposed to cut it, Phil, like the day that you need it. And you do that for a couple different reasons. One, it maintains the most freshest product possible, because once you cut it, the clock is ticking. Theoretically, the clock's ticking before that, but you know what I mean. On top of that, it's also like portion control. So this way you don't cut too much, and this way you're kind of forced to use stuff that you don't need, and or just tossing it because it goes bad sooner than you thought. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have ever been to any of my streams, so kind of like a select few, I suppose, that have showed up to those things. We have gone over videos where he's blatantly told us that he throws out food every week because it's always going bad. Well, that kind of makes sense if you're sitting there buying vegetables or produce that we don't need, cutting it well before we're even thinking about using it, and then it just sits in the refrigerator because we're ordering takeout all the time, or we're eating out at restaurants. He's literally throwing his money away. Is this what it is to try to play like? Okay, let's reword that. So there's a cost, or there's a price, I should say. There's a price to be paid trying to pretend like you're playing as an adult, or pretending to be an adult, I should say. And this is the cost that needs to be paid. This idiot is so quick to tell you that he's a mature adult and he has all these adult things to do, but he is actually acting like a child trying to pretend like being an adult. Kind of like, for example, where you get children, I'm sure most of you guys may have, who like put on their father's shaving cream, even though none of you guys got any hair on your face and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You're imitating an adult. That's kind of what this is. The only difference is it's costing him money. Money allegedly he don't have. So this is where all the money's going. Trying to pretend to do something that he doesn't need to be doing. And why are you chopping vegetables if you don't cook? He's told us this too. I'm not a good cook. That's why Catherine does all the cooking. So what? Why are you chopping vegetables up? For your fucking sauce? Didn't you already make that a little while ago? So what are you doing that about? And then what are you going to say? That stir fry that Catherine loves so much? You told us that shit's frozen. You're just heating it up. Okay, I'm being a dick at this point, but you know what I mean. I mean, you guys know exactly what I'm getting. I'm going with all of this. So let's continue.
Actually. And they were way sharper than usual. And I'm cutting. Zoop. Oh! Cut my thumb right down the middle. Pretty deep. It was bleeding pretty. It was like blood all over.
Well,
like, oh.
They're way sharper than usual. I would hope that Catherine is sharpening those knives on a regular basis, or a semi-regular basis, because she's the one who does all the cooking anyway. To Phil, just in case you don't know, a dull knife is even more dangerous than a sharp one. So I guess you could kind of count yourself lucky that you didn't actually do further damage to your hoof. But I'll let that go. I'll actually be generous about that. Let that go. Not to say that, maybe Catherine and Jasper have a taste for ham hocks. I don't want to imply that. I don't want to do that.
Fuck. So I had to immediately try to apply tons of pressure to it to try to get it to stop. It took about 20 minutes to get the blood to stop. Then I basically had to wrap it as hard as I possibly could, but I didn't have anything. Like, I didn't have a finger cot or anything to really hold it, so I had to do this impromptu tons of Band-Aids on it to try to hold it together. The other thing that really sucked, I had a ton of shit to do yesterday. Like, we had to go to the garbage dump and shit for the first time in months. We're trying to clean out our garage to make it nice and clean so that we can actually use it for other stuff. And so we had to go to the garbage dump, and here I am, I have to load all this shit into my car while my thumb is killing me because I sliced it like an idiot. So it sucks, but it is what it is. After we had our day out, I came home and I disinfected the hell out of it. I soaked it. First, I poured peroxide on it. Then I soaked it in rubbing alcohol. So whatever was in there is definitely dead. And now I've had it bandaged, all night.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same individual who has admitted that they literally hoard trash in their garage because Phil doesn't allegedly the trash pickup will only pick up 1 can or maybe 2 cans a week or whatever. And Jasper like Jasper's waste on top of their waste is so much that they have to leave that shit in the garage and pile up until they have time to actually take it out to the dump, which is weird. So now I want you guys to imagine the smell of this. This is going to be bad, but I need you to bear with me for a minute. You know what? Actually, let me pour you guys a cup of SnortBucks coffee. Let me do that for you. You're going to need this. You're going to need this one. All right. Okay. I want you guys to think about this for a minute. Think about all of the fast food trash that they have. All of the takeout food trash. All of Jasper's, used kitty litter and all that waste and everything. Sitting in their garage, fermenting for months on end. Months and months and months. All the boxes for all the stuff that they buy weekly that Phil says that they can't buy and they can't afford, but we clearly know it exists. That's why he doesn't want to do house tours anymore or anything. All of that stuff just sitting, all that trash, all that garbage, just sitting in his garage day in, day out. And just out there fermenting. Just stinking, slowly but surely seeping into the house itself. And this dude is so fucking lazy that I really wonder if he's actually even putting the trash out weekly, or he's just like, nah, we got a bunch of trash cans in the garage, just leave it in there and we'll tie it up tight or something, and then we'll put it out eventually. I want you to think about how gross that is. I want you to think about how gross that is. And he's saying, by his own admission, there is trash out there that have been out there for months. He finds more and more unique ways to live up to that pig roach moniker. He really does. He really does. All right. Well, the first round of coffee was on me, so let's get back into it. It's not gonna get any prettier. Here we go.
It sucks that it happened, but it is what it is. I'm wondering how this will affect me today as I play games, because it doesn't really hurt anymore, but I'm hoping that it doesn't, have any issue. I think it did clot up pretty nicely, and it's fine. It's not going to bleed or anything today, but hopefully it doesn't affect my gaming. I hope. I guess we'll have to see. But it was funny because, I almost never these days, ever post anything up on social media. Almost never, right? So I post up a picture of my thumb bandaged up yesterday, and immediately these losers start flaming. Oh, Phil thinks this is news. He's posting up pictures of his thumb bandaged. I was like, dude, I used to post stuff up all the time. Years ago, I used to post up on social media all the time, just dicking around. I used to post up stupid pictures that have nothing to do with anything. It's a way to interact with your audience when you're not directly on a stream. Just toss up a random picture and see how people react. And so these idiots just start fucking being completely stupid about it. Like, oh my god, let's actually attack and criticize Phil for posting up a picture of his thumb. Like, what are you talking about? Talk about being a loser. You have nothing better to do than sit around stalking my social media all day and respond and basically try to attack me for posting up a simple picture on my social media accounts.
I mean, you don't have anything better to do with your life than post up fucking your bloody hoof on the fucking social media for a reaction? Think about what you just said and the purpose behind you posting that picture. Think about that. You have nothing going on in your life, and the most exciting thing that you have is you splitting your hoof open, and you thought you were going to put that up on social media. What was that supposed to be? Get you pity tweets or something? What was that for? Is this supposed to raise your impressions on Twitter? Wow. I've been on Twitter for a little while, but things have changed. But apparently clout chasing or sympathy posting certainly has not. Holy shit.
This is your life.
Speaking of which, big ups to the homie Loco Slam with all those gains that he's making in the gym and shit. Big ups to that. I saw some of his updated pictures and shit. He's coming along. He is definitely coming along. So big ups to him on that.
So anyway, it is what it is. These people are just complete idiots. So anyway, that was my day off yesterday. Did a million things on my day off. Very, very busy. But it was a fun day. It was actually a cooler day, which was good. The weather here has definitely cooled down now, which is interesting because during the afternoons it's still warm if the sun is out, but at night the temperatures dip a huge amount. Like, whoa, it dipped like 20 degrees today. I'm actually cold now at night. I'm going to see what happens here, but as long as we don't get any heat waves, which it doesn't look like it's in the forecast, within the next few weeks, I may actually be able to take the air conditioner out of the window and go back to having a nice fan to cool down the office every day. I guess we're going to have to see how, what really happens with temperatures in the next few weeks, as we are now heading into the autumn season, which is definitely something that I would like to talk about with all of you right now on Prestream, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not noticed already, we have some changes. In fact, I should show you some of the things. First of all, the overlays. We've changed the color to red again. What I usually do is I alternate seasonally between like red and blue, and then when we head into autumn with like Halloween month in October, I do orange. So we've switched the overlays up to now be red. Okay. In addition to that, the musical playlist that we use for pre-stream and break music has been refreshed. And what I mean by that is there's been some songs added to it that were kind of not ever used, or had been used many years in the past and just kind of got forgotten about. So when you're actually listening to the music on pre-streams or during breaks, you may hear new songs, or you may hear songs that are a blast from the past that have been gone for a while. So you have
now,
like today.
I've heard LSB, Ann Lee, and I think Agent Proper, and maybe even James the Lesser. They've heard the play. Most of us have. We've heard the playlists like so often that you actually know what they can predict when the next song is about to come up. The reason why is because this idiot doesn't shuffle the playlist. So a lot of the songs that went unused or went unheard is because the damn idiot doesn't shuffle the playlist up. So for any of these songs to make an appearance, or to be played, if you will, that's not refreshing anything. That's just you being incompetent as usual. That's what it comes down to. So let's cut the bullshit on that. That's lame. But I guess whatever. I mean, he thinks that if he does any little change, he should be celebrated for it. Low-hanging fruit, I guess, whatever. But that's really what that comes down to. It's kind of just lazy for the sake of being lazy.
We had the actual theme song of the Week in Preview. Yeah, anyone remember the Week in Preview? Yeah. It's actually in there now. So, yeah, pretty cool. I like the fact that we're going to have some new music on the stream, especially when people complain it's always the same music over and over and over. We'll have some new stuff to spruce things up, okay? Now, in addition to that, I got a really good suggestion during my day off that I think I might want to implement and at least try out in the month of September and see how it goes. All right, so here was the suggestion. As you guys know, I currently do something for tips where I reward you guys when we hit certain tip milestones. And the way it currently works is we raise $50, I put on gunner glasses. If we raise $100, I put on a vest of your choice. And if I raise the full tips goal of $150, then I put on a hat. But in the last month, if anything, what we've seen is that once we hit that $100 tips goal, everything stalls, and we very rarely ever hit the full tips goal. Okay? Very rarely. And I got some feedback over the past few weeks about this. It seems that people are more of the opinion that the vest should be like the final reward in the reward structure, and that the hats maybe should be a mid-level reward rather than the final reward.
Oh, I knew this was going to eventually happen. Hold on a second. Let me see something real fast.
Okay. Very rarely. And
Yeah.
I got some
Let me go back
feedback.
just a little bit further, and then let's give my point. Okay, so a couple of broadcasts ago, Phil was actually, it might have been just the last broadcast, or maybe even the one before that. So it wasn't too far off. At least it was the last one or the one before. Phil was bitching and complaining about how they hadn't been hitting the tips goal, and and he was mad that people weren't showing the same type of enthusiasm for, giving him money to put on a fucking hat. And he was really upset about it. He was like, at first everybody loved it, but then you guys just kind of abandoned it. You guys don't really give a shit about it anymore. And I don't understand what the problem is or what the issue is, so on and so forth. And I had said something along the lines that, stop trying to fucking control every little thing about this. Let's dress up Mr. Potato Head, or playing Mr. Potato Head, or dressing up the clown. Stop fucking around and sitting there saying only this hat's available, only this vest is available. Everything's available all day, every day, period. If you keep putting these concessions in place, you're gonna go stagnant, and no one's gonna give a shit, because they're just gonna wait out the, I don't know, cooling down period or whatever you want to call it before they can get what they want. And his dumbass don't see it. And he wants to make little complaints about, you guys want the platinum vest, but I don't want to put the platinum vest on because it's too hot and I'm gonna sweat. Take a fucking shower then, dumbass. After the stream's over, take a goddamn shower instead of sitting there basting in your own fucking juices. How about that? Easy solution. You're the one who desperately needs this money, and you're the one who agreed to be Mr. Potato Head. So you take everything that goes along with it. If you want $150, I think you can sit there and sweat for an hour or two. Not that big of a deal. Because you're still in your own home, in your little office / studio, for whatever that's worth, and you still got your fucking little wall air conditioning unit. Which is funny now that I think about it, because this idiot, he actually had a space air conditioner back at the condo in Connecticut, and he left it there just so he could move to Seattle and buy a brand new one. Now that I think about it, God damn, you're stupid, Phil. Anyway, whatever. That's just stupid for the sake of being stupid. But yes, him putting up these roadblocks or trying to control every little thing is what hinders him more than anything. And he's still not smart enough to realize that. And then he has the nerve to sit here and say, we haven't hit a goal in a long time. Well, yeah, I wonder why. You're not giving them any reason to be, quote unquote, invested in it. They don't have any stake in it. The shit that makes sense, to be honest, is the platinum vest and, to be honest with you, the Nazi hat. Matter of fact, the Nazi hat essentially could go with any one of the vests, if you really think about it. It works really well with the platinum vest, because that's the one that got memed up the most, and so it gives you that what is it, Adolf Pigler or one of the other many things that came out of that. So it fits that narrative really, really well, to be honest. But yet again, if he keeps restricting or limiting how often it can be put out there, he's going to make it useless. Because, see, that's the thing. When the vest streak was really going on and he introduced the platinum vest, he was hoping people were going to get burnt out on it. But it's like the best vest out of all of them, because it makes him look like a complete and total fucking idiot. And then when you add the cowboy hat onto it and the gunner glasses, it's like he's like a gouty Steven Seagal or some shit. Like, it works so perfectly. And the fact that he's so uncomfortable in it because he's being made fun of, and because of how hot it can make him, quote unquote. It's how uncomfortable he is worth. Well, I don't think it's worth the money, because I'm not going to throw money at it. But it's worth seeing him squirm, if you will, because it literally looks like Mr. Potato Head wrapped up in aluminum foil. And now we have an assortment of hats to go along with it. But yet again, instead of playing into the meme and benefiting from it, he's so desperate to try to make himself look, I don't know, cool or whatever the fuck he's trying to go for, that he's only hurting himself. If you want people to be invested in you, right? or if you want people to care about you, you have to be able to laugh at yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to do that. Now, keep in mind, this is the same idiot who can't take any criticism, constructive or otherwise, and he can't take a joke, which is the reason why the comment section is gone. The reason why it's in 24-hour fucking sub mode on YouTube and all the other silly shit that comes with it. But then he doesn't have a reason to turn around and complain about money. All the people who would like to give you money and all those people who kind of want you to be seen in a better light, you're working against their interests, which in turn is working against your own. And yet again, it's not pride, it's just ego. It's misplaced ego. It's definitely narcissism. But overall, it's just stupidity. It's absolute, pure, piggy stupidity. In the worst possible way.
Everything stalls, and we very rarely ever hit the full tip skull. Okay? Very rarely. And I got some feedback over the past few weeks about this. It seems that people are more of the opinion that the vest should be like the final reward in the reward structure, and that the hats maybe should be a mid-level reward rather than the final reward. Because number one, the hats are newer, and maybe people would like to see the hats more often, so making that reward tier lower is a better reward. Okay? But also, it just seems like the vest is the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the vest is like the end game reward, while the hat is something that's a little bit less. You know what I mean? So, you might even be wondering, well, why did I implement it the way I did in August anyway? Why didn't I have the hats as the mid-level reward and the vest as the final tips reward? The reason is because last year when we started the vest streak, right? Remember the vest streak? Where every stream we were hitting the $100 tip skull and I was putting on the vest? That's what I mean. Like, people associated the vest with the $100 tip skull. So because of that association, I was nervous that if I changed it and said, oh, well, the vest is now $150, I get a backlash. And people would be like, oh, why did you make it harder to hit and stuff? But if anything, the feedback I've seen in August was that basically people didn't like that structure. It didn't make sense. Okay.
But see, that shows how stupid you are. If you were going to implement a new change like that, you should change the infrastructure. So by him switching things up, because it's all about being new and being exciting and being, you know, fresh, right? That right there should have been the new thing. He should have explained to them, hey, we got these new hats coming in. We're going to change up we're going to change the structure up on how basically build your own potato head's going to be. Obviously, he's not going to say it that way, but you know what I mean. Now it'll be, you know, what, $50 for the glasses. It'll be $100 for the hat. And to complete our Mr. Potato Head, or to complete the build your own clown pig workshop, that's actually kind of funny now that I think about it. Instead of build a bear, it'd be build a pig. Clown pig. We're going to switch up, and the vest is going to be the $150 because it is the biggest, or it's the largest garment, if you will. And the hat's going to be $100, and do it that way. He should have changed up because that's what needed to happen. Instead, you wanted to keep going with this same stagnant shit that happened a year ago off of a vest streak that only went to 276 because you're a failure. You wanted to have complete and total control over the vest streak. That's why the vest streak, one of the reasons why the vest streak failed, is because, yet again, he was trying to implement all these controls, or sorry, he was implementing all these, he was implementing all these terms, and what vest would be available, which one wouldn't, and all these just dumb shit just to try to have control of the situation, and wasn't able to keep his eyes on the prize, which is hitting that $100 vest goal. He was so busy trying to have control of every little thing that people were doing, and he was tired of people laughing at him and making fun of him, that he forgot about what the point was, to get that $100 a stream. If not more, but certainly that $100 a stream. Yet again, he let his ego get the best of him, and he got fucked royally. And if you go back to that time, all those overtimes that he was going through, all that stalling that he was going through, it's all par for the course, and it didn't need to happen. You know what I'm saying? Just like what I'll give you an example. Just like the conversations that me and Agent Proper have sometimes. Life is good if you let it be good, man. You know what I'm saying? Which is a John quote too, by the way. That's just a coincidence that happened. But life is good if you let it be. And if you have a situation where things are going really well, then let it be. Then just let it be. But instead, he wanted to have so much control over the shit. And then it ended up failing on him. So if you're getting ready to put yourself in a position to implement it again, change it. So this way it's not so familiar to them. It's familiar enough to where they may want to contribute to it, but it's not so familiar that it ends the way the last one did. That's not hard to figure out. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a rocket scientist to think that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But see, DSP has to always tweak and fix everything, right? When that shit's starting to work his ego and his nerves. Like I said, he's great at fucking himself up. If he didn't have detractors, he would just blame the audience. If he didn't have an audience, he would just blame the website that he's on or the platform he's on. You know what I'm saying? And on and on and on. So to say that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are the issue, it isn't. You knock out one, another one just gets elevated. And it's just going to continue like that forever. Because he's been doing it his whole fucking life. He's been doing it his whole fucking life. He doesn't know how to do anything else. Failure's in the blood, ladies and gentlemen.
You're correct. Healing Seattle Air. What I'm going to end up having to do, I'm going to have to remove that slide that basically says the tier rewards, because I think for September, all right, we're going to try something different. Here's how it's going to work. $50 Gunner glasses, $100 you pick a hat, and $150 then it's the vest. Okay? We're going to try this order. We're going to see if this has any kind of a positive effect on anything on the streams. It very well may have no effect at all. All right? But I'm hoping that it'll have a positive effect, because this is kind of the result of what you guys have been telling me over the last couple of weeks. All right? Fair enough? We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it works. And we'll do that, okay? So, there you go. There you go. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, it does work out, because I bought these hats as a result of you guys asking me to get more hats. I bought all these hats for the streams, and I barely ever see them, right? We never see them on stream at all. So, and by the way, as I said, in the next few months, next 2 to 3 months, likely what I will do is, as it gets cooler here, and it is much cooler in the office, I will look to get some more hats to add to the rotation that are going to be more comfortable to wear. I mean, they could be sillier hats.
Why would you do that? You're having a hard time getting the hats that you currently own over, right? They can't even catch a rub, to be honest with you, because you're being too much of a bitch about it. So you want to buy more hats? Holy shit, dude. Like I said, just throwing your money away. Literally, he's flinging pig shit at the wall, just hoping something sticks. You know what I'm saying? And really, as he's saying here, it's really more for his own comfort than anything else. But no one gives a fuck about your comfort. If you're going to sit here and be a bitch, if you're going to be a hoe, and you're going to dress up like a hoe, right? You know what I'm saying? People are going to want to have some input on what that hoe looks like. To be honest, because they're paying for it. They might as well. They own you, so to speak. So, yet again, you're not any creature comforts, or you are not the priority anymore. You know what I'm saying? The moment that you went ahead and put yourself up for sale, quote unquote, the moment you put yourself up for sale, you ceased being the priority. They are the clients, they are the Johns, they are whatever you want to call them, but they're the ones who have control. And like I said, if he would allow them to actually have some input on the hats that are being purchased, I bet you anything those goals would hit. He would hit those goals a little more. How hard is it? Take a couple of screenshots of some of the hats that you're looking at on Amazon, right? And gauge the audience with it. See what they like, what they don't like. Let them contribute, or let them post on Twitter. Hey, here's a link to another one of the hats that I was looking at on Twitter. What about if this can be considered? And do a straw poll or some shit and make that happen. Now, granted, that's counterintuitive because he rigs all the polls anyway. He's been good for doing that. Does that all the time. But at least it gives them the illusion that they have a choice, that their voice means something, which is all Phil has ever tried to do anyway. He gives them the illusion that what they say matters. It doesn't. It never have. It never will. Let's not lie to ourselves about this. But something to think about.
The other big factor here is that in the month of October, I'm going to get that pair of headphones that you wear around your neck from Hori. And when I get those, then I don't have to wear headphones on my head ever. In which case, I can wear whatever I want on my head when I'm streaming. It won't affect anything in any negative way at all. Okay? So
yeah, but I'm waiting for him to develop some type of rash or something. Because given his hygiene level, right, and it's going to start getting colder, or cooler, I should say, he's going to bathe even less. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to sweat. It doesn't mean that he's still not going to have dirt and dead skin cells and all these other things that are going to build up around that headset, right? And then any type of chafing and anything when he moves around, or he's flailing his fucking hands and his arms and shit like your typical inflated fucking balloon man or whatever. Like, I mean, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he develops some type of rash or some shit around his neck then. That's going to be gross. That's going to be gross. Because he won't even wipe down his own controllers. You know he damn sure wasn't wiping down his headphones, hence the reason why we got the gouty ear infections in the first place. Wait and see what the headset around the neck's going to do to him. The neck phones, if you will. Wait and see what that produces. Well, I say give it time. Give it time.
I definitely feel like this makes more sense, and hopefully it won't affect things too negatively this month with the headphones. That's the thing. Once I put on a hat, now I can't wear the headphones anymore. So we'll see how it goes this month. This will be a trial month to try this out. Okay? Now, another thing that has changed for this month, if you take a look at the top of your screens, the membership goal has been adjusted for the month of September. All right? September will have a 2-tier membership goal. All right? Here's how it's going to work. During the month of September, if at any point we hit 260 concurrent members on this channel, we will be doing a Halloween gaming marathon. I'll be dressing up in costume. I'll be playing games all day long on Halloween. You guys will be nominating and voting for the games that I play during that event. They could be horror themed. They could be non-horror themed. It's up to you. And there will be a live episode of Feasting with the King on that marathon event as well. Okay? I really like doing this. I've done it 6 years in a row, and it would be really awesome to do it again. So I hope that this will motivate people to become a channel member in the month of September. All right? Essentially, last month, when you guys were telling me was that the Game Pass Marathon, the Feasting with the King, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough motivation to get people to become a channel member. The overwhelming feedback I got was that people feel that they don't get enough value out of being a channel member here, because on Twitch, you guys got better things for being a sub, right? And I hear you. On Twitch, you guys did get more features. I apologize to you that you can't get those features here on YouTube because they haven't implemented them yet. In fact, in just a few moments, one of the topics I want to talk about on today's pre-stream is ideas for how YouTube can improve to compete with Twitch, because Twitch at this point, sadly, is in a downward spiral. A lot of things are happening right now that you guys may not be aware of that we're going to talk about. Negative movements on Twitch, people leaving Twitch, and I feel that YouTube can 100% be a viable competitor if they would improve and change some things. And we're going to talk about that today, okay? But anyway.
There's nothing to talk about. The narrative he's trying to push is that he wants YouTube to be the new Twitch, basically. That's all he's saying. He's like, I want YouTube to be the new Twitch. So give us gifted memberships. I think that's the only thing he's really asking for. Gifted memberships, and there was one more thing maybe that Twitch has that he wants to implement. But other than that, that's it. And that's all the stuff that you would get from the affiliates program anyway. Because he's not a priority on YouTube like that to where anybody's going to watch his ass. There's been so many people that I'm sure have seen the clips of him shitting on YouTube, just like I assume people on Twitch. I won't put this person out there because, trust me, they're doing Almighty's work in the fact that every time Phil has an outburst about Twitch, there's an individual who actually shoots a DM to someone at Twitch. I don't know who it is. I didn't inquire about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, they were very vague about it, but I get the gist. And so someone is watching it. Maybe there's multiple people watching it. You know what I'm saying? So what's being said about him is, I would assume, and this is just an assumption, is pretty well known. Now, does that affect their decision making on letting Phil back into the affiliates or even the partner program? Probably not. But it allows you to see what type of useless piece of shit the DSP really is. Because, as an example, when you look at other streamers, when they fuck up and they get banned off Twitch for, you know, or suspended, I should say, when they get suspended off Twitch, the first thing they almost they all do is tweet Twitch publicly and say, hey, my apologies on this. And they let their fans or their viewers know, hey, I'm taking a 5-day ban, and I'll see you guys in a couple days or whatever. Now, I don't know if that actually helps anybody with anything, but I do know that with certain people, that 5 days or that week or whatever gets reduced down to like 2 days or 3 days in some cases. Not for everybody, clearly, but for some cases. And then they're right back at it and they fix up. DSP has an issue and he wants to sit there and talk shit. That doesn't come across or come off as maybe a handy way to handle the situation. And so maybe his suffering is just caused. No pun intended. Just something to think about. You don't get to just sit there and talk all this shit about all these people and not be some type of repercussions sooner than later. I don't think it's a coincidence that he doesn't have, or he didn't have, a Twitch partner at the end. I think once he was begging them, because that's what it was, when he was begging them to assign him a new Twitch partner and they didn't do it, that right there, at least in my mind at that time, told me something's going on and it's probably going to end badly for him. And by the grace of Almighty, that's kind of what ended up happening. Just something to think about, man. You don't get to run around and suck dick here and then go ahead and spew bullshit over here and not think there's not going to be some consequences in some way, shape, or form. It is what it is. He wants to talk about his 13 year legacy. But there's a lot of pig shit in that legacy. He took shots at people he didn't need to take shots at. He shit on his peers when they didn't need to be shitting on. Those very people that he called shills and sellouts and the chosen few and all that, those are some of the people that he should have been, if not collaborating with, which they're probably smart enough not to do that, he could have at least, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He could have at least felt them out, so to speak, to get certain numbers for certain contacts or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could have been a thing. He could have taken their temperature and see if they could have, you know, pointed him in the right direction of certain people to talk to as it pertains to be able to obtain certain things. You know? He could have done that. He chose not to. And he went after people who never did anything to him. Which is ironic because he says people like me shit on him for no fucking reason. What did he do to me? And by that same proxy, what did he do to those people? What did he do to fucking Toby Turner? What did he do to Justine? You know what I'm saying? What did he do to Markiplier? What did he do to anybody to warrant some of the bullshit that he put out there? If he can give it, then I would assume he can take it. You know what I'm saying? He calls what people do who have commentary on him, he calls that shit slander. But he's done that shit to other people too. I don't give a fuck if he was in a bad headspace. I don't give a fuck if he was just, you know what I'm saying, ranting or whatever. He didn't mean nothing by it. Clearly he meant something by it because he said it. And in most situations, he said it for multiple days, if not weeks at a time. Then again, he is a coward though, and he did delete some of those posts on Twitter. Which doesn't sound like a very good sign either, because if there were a group of people who agreed with him, the moment he backtracked, oh, he's a coward. We don't need to go ahead and give that anymore. There's always someone on Twitter looking to champion somebody else. And what good is a man or a pig if he can't stand by his own word? Something to think about.
One of the major things you guys told me last month was that you would be motivated to become a member if, number one, better games, right? If you're going to be around the streams more to watch me play bigger AAA games, that's one thing, you would probably become a member. And number two, if the end goal reward was better. So this, I mean, the Halloween Marathon, it's always a good time. Every single year you guys tell me you love it. You know, that's why I love doing it. So this is definitely an opportunity this month to see some growth on the channel. Now, here's the thing. There's a tier 2 reward as well. If we hit 285 members, which, yes, that is a huge stretch. That's about 50 new members on the channel. But if we do that by the end of September, then you guys will be able to vote on the category of Halloween costume that I'm going to wear. Usually every year I do certain categories, and they're usually things such as pop culture icon or reference, comic book character, classic horror villain, things like that. Okay? So I like giving you guys that power. Depending on what you vote, it could totally sway what I end up doing for my costume that year. I remember one year you guys voted pop culture, so I dressed up as Bob Ross. Okay? So, I like that. I like giving you guys that power. Alright? We'll see what happens. Obviously, I would be very pleased if we just hit the tier 1 goal this month. If we just hit the 260, that's some growth for the channel. I would be very pleased with that, and I feel that we'll retain those members because with the more newer games coming out in the next few months, this busy gaming season, I think we're going to be in business. You know what I'm saying? But if we can hit the tier 2, that would be outstanding. That would be, you know, some really significant growth when it comes to subscriptions and everything. Excuse me, memberships here on YouTube. So, that's good stuff. Okay? That is good stuff, and thank you guys in advance to anyone who does become a channel member here this month to help support the channel and make the Halloween event happen. I feel this will be a much better motivation, a much better event. Alright. Fair enough? Alright, I hope so. I hope this all sounds good to you, and that you guys will support if you can. I'll be talking about this all month long, so people know what's going on, because this is a big thing going on, obviously. Okay? So, that's the stuff going on. We've got refreshed overlay on the streams. We got refreshed music. We got a new goal in effect for memberships. And we've got the tips rewards shuffled around, which hopefully makes more sense per your feedback. Alright? It's hilarious because these idiots who always want to slam me online always say, I don't listen to feedback. You ignore all criticisms. Like, actually, I constantly am changing myself depending on feedback and criticism. Half the games that I played in the month of August were because you guys asked me to do stuff on Game Pass and you recommended games for me to play. You know what I mean? Like, every Game Pass game was something you guys suggested. The games that I stuck with it, like Last Stop and stuff, was because you guys requested it. It's just that these idiots want to spin their narrative however they want. There's one guy who literally said this. He says, Phil, you never give, you always just take. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a life situation, all right? I'm here 6 days a week, full time, right? 2 streams, plus pre-streams, plus the uploading of videos, social media, etc. All in all, half my day at the very least is dedicated to my job 6 days a week. 6 days a week, I get to spend like 1 hour a day with my wife, maybe 2, at that. I only get 1 day a week off to do anything with my wife, and half of that day is running errands that aren't very fun or meaningful, right? I couldn't even tell you the last time I took 2 days off back to back. Think about it. When was the actual last day or last time that I had 2 days off back to back in order to spend time with my family, right? When was the last time I actually had a vacation? I guess you could argue early in 2019 when I went to Connecticut to spend time with my parents and get married, right? So, this is Phil, who never gives and always takes, yet he's here 6 days a week, never takes 2 days off. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, and I listen to this nonsense. It's like, guys, I'm trying to do my absolute best. I am. To entertain you, to do what's right, to give you what you want. And I hope you guys understand that. I'm frustrated when there is still this large group of fucking morons out there who only listen to shitbags who just want to fucking dump on me constantly and make shit up. Like, if you look at the facts versus reality, there's no way you could even say these things. But this is what these scumbags do. And then they try to make me feel bad, and sometimes it works, you know? Sometimes I feel awful when I see shit like that online. I'm like, man, here I am working my ass off. I wish I could have more time to spend with my wife, because I really don't get a lot of time with my wife at all to make ends
Yeah, but that sounds like by design. First off, you still letting detractor, troll, hater, and critic shit bother you? We're still at this point? All right, then. Secondly, it does make you feel bad that you don't get a chance to spend more time with your wife at a job, that you control what your work schedule is. It sounds like you're just kind of going out your way not to spend time with her. Kind of like what you were doing with Panda, too. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I assume all of you who have a spouse or have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or whatever the case may be, if you felt like you weren't spending enough time with them, you would make time to spend with them. He could do the exact same. I'm still of the thought that him streaming as often as he does is a deficit to him. But he's too stupid to do otherwise. You know what I mean? It seems like he's just trying to avoid them, and he only wants to spend time with them when he wants to spend time with them. That's really what it comes down to. And we all saw what happened to his first relationship with his first fiance under those circumstances. I would assume this is going to end in a similar fashion, except for he has way more to lose this time around. So if you want to feel bad, Phil, feel bad for your own incompetency. Feel bad because you're a fucking nut and you're trying to put on this facade that you have this life that really doesn't exist. Your day-to-day, the way you present yourself day-to-day proves that. It is what it is. You're not fooling anybody but yourself. You're not impressing anybody. I think even the pay pigs can see through it. But you got them so riled up to give you money to get back at the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics that even they don't really care about your narrative anymore. And that's why the numbers keep dwindling. Oh well.
On top of that, now have a negative reputation online as if it's the opposite. You know? It really hurts. It absolutely hurts, man.
First things first, you got a negative reputation online, but yet you've done everything in your power to keep insinuating it. To keep proving that what happened is true. You've gone out of your way. And then by saying absolute fucking pig-tard shit that you saying absolute pig-tard shit about there is a nugget or a snidbit of truth in everything that's said about you. That's why you got a bad. That's one of the reasons, I should say. One of the big reasons why you have a bad reputation online. That's a big part of it. That is a big part of it. You should never admit to something like that. For all the shots I've taken at you over the years, I am one of the first people to tell you you should never admit to or co-sign to some shit like that. Tevin has said the same thing. I'm pretty confident LSB has said the same thing. I know James Lester's definitely said the same thing. Because it's just a stupid thing to say. It's a stupid thing to say that there is a nugget of truth to everything that's being said about me. There is a smidgen of truth. That is the most dumbest thing to say. Especially in your situation. Especially in your situation. And yet you don't see it. And yet you do not see it. Yet again, you have proven to be your greatest detractor. Your biggest deficit, to say the least. Your reputation online has been shit for years. I found posts, I found it on Kiwi Farms, so big ups to the farms, where you were harassing some female game writer or some shit. I don't know what, I can't really remember exactly what her position was. She must have been some type of game writer or something. And you were harassing her for like days on end. Not even like on some Mitch. It was kind of like on some Mitch Dyer shit, to be honest. But like you were just excessively tweeting this woman, and it's like, what did she even really say to you to cause all that? It was like you were trying to. You were trying to make something out of nothing, I guess. So I'm not saying that that was a really bad look. That's the point I'm trying to make. That was a really bad look. But the situation really comes down to you have hurt yourself online and your online persona and everything else that entails more than anybody. That's nobody's fault but your own. That was just a really shitty look for no reason. No good one anyway. You have no one but to blame. You have no one to blame but yourself. Your own actions insinuates or intensifies actually what is being said about you and what people end up showing about you later on down the line. You have the temperament of essentially a spoiled child. You're someone who wants to talk first and then try to clarify the situation later. And by then, no one cares on two fronts. One, it's too late. Two, you're a pathological liar. So there's no value in what you say anyway. But the negative will always cover more ground than the clarification or the positive. And the positivity don't exist with you anyway. And your clarification is still skewed. Or it still comes across as condescending and bullshit. Which is the reason why people disregard it. I mean, from a social standpoint, you're a mess. And this was something that's well known about you throughout your duration on YouTube or online in general. This isn't a new problem. This is an old problem. And this isn't a we problem. This is a re problem. And you still ain't figured that out yet. And for that, you continue to suffer. And then assholes like me get to laugh at that shit. And make hour-long plus videos about it. Someone's got to do it.
Now have a negative reputation online as if it's the opposite. You know? It really hurts. It absolutely hurts, man. So, please be conscious of all this bullshit going on around us here. And understand that sometimes I do get frustrated. You know, Monday, I really was disappointed that we didn't hit the membership goal for August because I was geared up and ready to do a marathon this Saturday. It didn't happen. And then I tried to talk very matter-of-factly with the audience and explain, listen, August was a great month. August was a month where things went well. Actually, support for a month that typically is the deadest month of the year. August absolutely is always the slowest and deadest month of the year for gaming. We had a great month. We had a lot of fun together. We had a lot of fun playthroughs. You guys were supporting me through thick and thin, even when there wasn't new releases. And I was very appreciative of that. But yeah, I was disappointed that we couldn't just hit a very small goal, because that tells me that sadly YouTube streaming just doesn't have enough opportunities as it should for someone who has a fan base like mine. It's just true. It doesn't. YouTube is too limited. And I hope YouTube will improve. And as I've said, we're going to talk on this pre-stream about ways that I feel YouTube can improve. Okay? But that being said...
that right there is your smoking snort that the first chance they let him back on Twitch, he's going. He's going. So like I said, 20th, 21st, 22nd, October of 2021. Those 3 days, those 72 hours are going to be interesting. And yet again, my real question, though, that I pose to all of you is, does he still do the Halloween horror video game marathon on YouTube, right, as like his last hurrah? And then he starts on Twitch fresh in November 1st? Or does he go ahead and make the jump to Twitch October 30th or 31st, right? And try to cover as much ground as he can, or try to hit the ground snorting, if you will, you know, off of the Halloween marathon. Which one do you guys think it's going to be? Something to throw out there. But I think how he plays this off is going to be interesting, because I'm of the mindset that he's going to try to bleed them as much as he can on YouTube, right? To kind of pad that last YouTube paycheck, that last big one, if you will, and then start on Twitch fresh in November. But maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be Maybe he'll just want to cut his losses and head over there right away. Who could say? It's hard to predict what a hoe's going to do.
Honestly, and matter of factly with my audience, and trolls, of course, have to say, oh, well, Phil's entitled and Phil's insulting his viewers. None of that happened. None of it. But that's what they say, and then people moronically spin it to say something else that didn't happen, and then somehow that becomes the narrative on the internet on my day off, even though I'm not paying attention to it. I see people, like, going crazy on Twitter. It's ridiculous. Like, yesterday, I posted up the picture of my thumb, okay? And then later in the day, I posted up the other picture of my thumb. And I maybe responded to a couple tweets and blocked a bunch of shitheads who literally all day long were attacking me on Twitter. I wasn't even on Twitter. And people were sending me some of the nastiest messages I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with people? You know? It's just unreal. All I want to do is have a nice day off, and I get people going crazy on the internet, you no-life idiots. Like, guys, I'm not paying attention to you. I'm over with my wife having a good day, right? I mean, it's a hectic day. We're having a good day together. I'm not paying attention to your fucking nonsense. And by the way, when I come back on Wednesday, things are going to be normal. It's nothing changes when these idiots rail and rally against nothing. I've been doing this for 13 years. Nothing's gonna change with these idiots. Okay.
Okay. Well, if this shit's not bothering you, right? You were spending quality time with your wife. I mean, why are you talking about it now? And if that's really the case, right, where you don't let any of this shit bother you, none of this has any credence, then why did you feel like you were actually hurt by some of the things that were said? Mainly the implication of you not spending enough time with your wife. On top of that, if this is really just above your gouty atmosphere, right? Like you're so above all this bullshit that none of this shit can touch you, right? Then why did you spend your wedding night deleting and responding and deleting to people? Sorry, let's reword that. Why did you spend your wedding night responding and deleting messages on Instagram on your wedding night? Of all days, if you will. Why were you responding to bullshit then? You should have let all that ride. That shit could all have happened the next day. Whatever. Mentally untouchable, I guess, yeah? Yeah? Yeah.
They're complete morons. So, my friends, here we are, and I think it is time to move forward positively into a new fun month. This will be a great month. So this September, we're going to have a mix of continuing and finishing playthroughs. We're going to be starting up a lot of new stuff soon. Very soon. This Friday, I'm starting a new game. The week after, we got 2 new games. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up in the month of September. Big high-profile new releases around the second half of the month coming out. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited for it. And I hope that you guys are excited too. Okay? It really is. Exactly right. Graceful Phoenix. He says, it's time for a mental reset. You're right. It's time to say, fuck the nonsense. These idiots always say the same shit no matter what. They're really a broken record. They don't have anything new to say. They just repeat the same nonsense in a circle and circle jerk each other until they all fucking go crazy on their own negative shit. Well, you pay attention to that, man. My streams are positive and fun, and that's the point. Okay? So let's do that.
And yet you still find the time and the need to watch Detractor content, to follow what's going on Detractor Twitter, and then apparently seething over the things that are going on kiwi farms, which makes no sense, by the way. It doesn't make any sense at all that you would pay attention to any of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If it's all bullshit, of course. It seems weird. If we're all these brain dead, mentally ill, pathological liars ourselves, right? Why the hell does he still feel the need to watch all that shit? Why does he feel the need to absorb all of that bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, why would you pay attention to a negative element if they're all liars? You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. If half of what they say are lies. If there are a snidbit of truth to everything. Like, who you fooling, dude? Like, who you fooling? Like, your whole life is this. To be honest with you. The only person, or the only 2 people, I should say, if one is considered a person, that is actually more than likely mentally cut off from being online is Jasper and Catherine. And for Catherine, that's probably a good thing. And for Jasper, he don't give a fuck either which way. You know what I'm saying? He's looking at chewing up wires, and one day he's going to push that television over. It's going to be amazing when that happens. It's going to be amazing when that happens. Outside of that, why give life to any of this if you don't care?
Talk the schedule for the week. This is a very weird week, schedule-wise. And then let's talk about news, because there's a lot going on right now in the realm of streaming. Yeah. Okay, a lot. Money. Oh, money. Okay, money. Let's do it. Yeah. So, money today, money, ladies and gentlemen. Money. Yeah. Money. Oh, money. Yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Money. Yeah. Money. Oh, money. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Money. Oh, money. Yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Show me the money. Money, yeah. Money. Oh, money, yeah. Money. Yeah. Money. Oh, money, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Tipping me helps me more than anything.
That was great. That was great. All right. Big ups to Hate Army Watch. Very much appreciate it. Link will be down in the description, so you guys can check that out at your leisure. Wow. Oh my God. Just literally like minimum effort, maximum profit, or at least that's the expectation anyway. Like just consistently doing the bare minimum and expecting the maximum out of it for no reason, for no good reason. Like I would think he couldn't even lie to himself at this point, but he keeps finding a way to do it. So it is what it is, I guess. All right, guys, give me a second to, square up and whatnot. We'll reconvene for final thoughts. So I'll let you guys go on with your day. Yikes. I'll see you guys in a second. Oh boy. Holy shit. Holy shit. All right, so where do we how do we finish this off? How do we finish this off? This isn't going to get any better. He's already, if you think about the pitch, if you will, that this video had, he's ramping up, believe it or not. He's ramping up to try to go back to Twitch. Even though in the previous broadcast we heard about Twitch fucked him and they mistreated him and they abused him and they're the reason why he's in this situation and all the pig snorting that all entails. He's setting up to go back to Twitch. If he gets that, can get back into the affiliate. I'm sorry. If he can get back into the affiliate, he's going. He's gone. When? like I said, that's the question that I posed to you guys earlier. But like I said, between the 20th to the 22nd of October, those are the days that we need to look out for. That 72-hour period is gonna be interesting, because depending on how his temperament is and how his mood is will depend on whether he got in or not. That's what I think anyway. We'll have to wait and see. But this right here, it sounds to me, amongst many things, as a declaration of, hey, I'm gonna have to go back to Twitch because YouTube is not gonna, it cannot sustain my business the way I need it to. Because Phil, being your typical broken record himself, needs to have something tailor-made to comfort him. And YouTube, like I said, YouTube isn't built for that. And in another year or two, will YouTube have something similar? Sure. I don't think you'll be able to get away with some of the bullshit, you know what I'm saying, that Twitch allows. That's just my opinion, but we'll see. But he's not thinking about in a year or two. He's thinking about right now. And like I said, he's going to be begging and pleading to get back in. Now, do I think they're going to allow him as a partner again? No. I don't think so. I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. But I don't think they're going to allow him to be a partner. I do think that they might let him back into the affiliate. I do honestly think they'll give him that. And would they ever give him partnership after that? I don't know. I assume that he will try to apply if he gets affiliate in October, end of October. Yes, he will try to apply for managed partnership again, which in April 20th, 21st, 22nd. So that's our timeline, if you will, for anybody who wants to keep score. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see how that plays. But that's my initial thoughts, and that's where I think that's gonna go. I honestly think if he can get back in, he's going back. I think he's going back. I think he's just a hurt little bitch, and he wants to say what he wants to say, and he wants to react the way he wants to react because he's angry and he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like a child. He's angry and he's hurt. So he's just lashing out any way he can. But if Mommy Twitch opens her bosom back up to him, he's going to come running. He's going to come in snorting, and he's going to come in running, because that's what he do. It's all he's ever done. You know what I'm saying? He can't stand on his own too. He's never been taught how to do so. And then it'd be too hard for him anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you guys for the next one. This is the pseudo snort report. This is DSP News, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Take care of yourselves, guys. Later.